Please welcome a...
So I wanted to make a video in relationship to the Alamo Drafthouse, because I went twice to the same one in San Antonio, and I wanted to go to the first one, the one in Austin, but I didn't really make time. I didn't budget time in Austin for that. So here's the reflection that occurred to me, and I wanted to talk about. The guy who started Alamo Drafthouse, and I don't know his name, I think it's Tim, but I'm not positive. I apologize deeply and sincerely. I don't know that he's from Bakersfield, but he ran a movie theater in Bakersfield called the Tejon. And the Tejon was in East Bakersfield. And I remember the Tejon specifically because there was a time that Comedy Sports connected with the Tejon. And I'm pretty sure Johnny was running Comedy Sports at the time, where we arranged, we set up something with them that we were going to sponsor a movie essentially, and provide an environmental experience to go along with the movie that we were showing. So the movie we piloted it with was Airplane, which has deep significance to Comedy Sports, as I'm sure the Comedy Sportsers out there are still aware of. And this is why I'm pretty sure Johnny was in charge at the time, because Johnny was a huge fan of Airplane, bigger than the rest of us were even. That showing was poorly attended. We only had a few people show up, whether it was us marketing or Bakersfield or the location in East Bakersfield, I don't know. But I remember being a part of the environmental experience to let people be a part of the movie, kinda. And I was reminded of this while I was sitting in the Alamo Drafthouse both nights, because when I went to see The Dead Don't Die, when you go to a movie these days, there's like 20 minutes of like Newbie or whatever they call it, or TBS advertising, but there's like 20 minutes of promo reel before the movie. To give you something to watch. It's usually commercials. But Alamo Drafthouse has constructed, for The Dead Don't Die, they were showing a whole bunch of zombie stuff. And I asked Ryan, the guy I ended up sitting next to, talking to, if they did that for every movie. And he said, yeah, every movie they do, they built something like that. So the next night I went back and saw Rocket Man, and ahead of Rocket Man, I remember specifically, it's not that far in the past, watching Elton John introduce William Shatner doing Rocket Man. And so the pre-reel was a lot of stuff like that, period stuff that helped establish the feel of the movie. And watching those was what made me go, oh yeah, I remember when we did something like that. And then it clicked for me that was the same guy. So I have no idea. He may have had the whole idea before he touched base with Comedy Sports, or Comedy Sports may have had something to do with his conceptualizing. I know that what Studio Movie Grill offers is not the same experience. I've been to Studio Movie Grill several times, and I refer to it as the movie theater you go to if you don't care about watching the movie. Because I've had projection issues there, I've had sound issues there, I've had audience members sitting next to me who were Snapchatting pieces of the movie, and it just does not compare. You go to Studio Movie Grill if you don't care about the quality of the movie. That's not the way it was at Alamo Drafthouse at all, which is what I was curious about going in. The Drafthouse is a little more low tech, or at least the one in San Antonio was, because SMG has a button that you press on your tray table that lets the wait staff know that you have a need. And at Alamo Drafthouse, you write on an order card and you put it up in the front of the stand. But they care about the environment of the movie. They care about projection and using the screen to its proper dimension, which is one of my big problems with SMG. They care about sound. They care about maintaining the audience experience to the same degree that the ArcLight does in Los Angeles. They actually tell you at the beginning, look, no talking, no texting. You'll get one warning, and then you're out. And I didn't see a single phone, including mine, through the entirety of either of the movies I watched. So I was very impressed with Alamo Drafthouse, particularly in comparison to SMG. And I won't go back to SMG. I just haven't had a good experience there. That's without even talking about the time Kayleen and I went to go see The Mule. And she can tell that story. And again, I don't know how much the airplane experience figures into the origin of Alamo Drafthouse, but I'm just delighted to be reminded of that, and whatever role it happened to play. I mean, I'm just mystified by the tapestry of life and how one thing affects another thing and how all of those things connect. And so I'm delighted to be in there somewhere with the idea of Alamo Drafthouse before it became Alamo Drafthouse. Let's make this clear, by the way. I am in no way responsible for Alamo Drafthouse or how they do things. Because I know people will watch that story and go, oh, he thinks he's responsible for how Alamo Drafthouse was born. No, not at all. I just don't remember the details of which thing led to the next thing or how that deal was cut. I was just along for the ride, man, and delighted to be there. Yep, Alamo Drafthouse. Peace.